Guys, welcome to the Friday Waffle. I've literally just got back about, I would say about an hour ago. We were down, I think I mentioned it, we went down to a caravan. Where was it? In a place called, it's in the Lake District, in a place called Kirby Lonsdale, well just outside there. Really nice, really relaxing. The weather wasn't bad up until today, or yesterday I should say. It started to piss with rain, it rained all during the night, but I had a really relaxing time. Like a lot of sort of in the countryside type places, there was absolutely bugger all internet. I mean, you know, even getting a phone signal was, you were doing well to do that. It was one of these things, you would get like you would get mobile internet for maybe a split second or maybe a couple of minutes, whatever, then it would disappear. So I was able to sort of make a couple of videos public, hence the reason there were a few videos out this week. But yeah, it was good. What did we do? Oh, let me think. Got down there on Sunday. Monday we went to Blackpool. We went to the pleasure beach. Now I've got to say, I was never a fan of Blackpool. I've always, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody from Blackpool, but the actual main seafront part, it's pretty run down. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've spent a fair bit of money sort of bringing the sort of beach side of things up to spec, but all the sort of like the shops that sell all the usual tat and shite basically, it takes a certain type of person to can enjoy that, and that's not my thing. But yeah, we went to the pleasure beach, and I've got to say I was actually very pleasantly surprised at what it was like. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as, like, you know, Universal Studios, anything like that. But they've obviously put a lot of money into it to kind of bring it up to speed. I mean, I'm not a fan of roller coasters, so I didn't go on anything at all. I did have to pay to get in right enough. But my daughter and her cousin, they went on all the stuff. They were on the Pepsi Max. In fact, my daughter actually told me that the Pepsi Max was the best roller coaster she'd ever been on, and that included the ones in you know, across in the States. So there you go. There's one for Blackpool. Anybody that likes roller coasters, my daughter says that is the best one she's been on. So yeah, it was really good. I says the weather wasn't bad. But I says it was raining yesterday, and it rained all during the night and up to this morning. So I says we literally got back like about an hour ago. So yeah, I've not been playing many games at all this week. I did take my Pandora. Now I've got to say, the little Pandora console, I have thought about selling it in the past. In fact, I think I mentioned I did actually have it up for sale for a very short time. And I eventually took it down again. I've got to say, I mean, there's a lot of consoles, sort of consoles out there that, you know, people would say they're the best portable sort of consoles, handhelds for playing retro games. But I've got to say, the Pandora, you know, having used it quite a bit this week, it's a fantastic little console. I mean, it's a really old, it's quite an old system. It's not a particularly well spec'd system. I mean, it's something like 700 megahertz. It's just a single core PC that it's got in it. It's an Atom. I'm not too sure actually what the spec is, but I know it's only 700 megahertz. So on paper, it's not a particularly fast machine. But I don't know whether it's just because they've really the emulators that are put out for it, they just seem to sort of, they've written really well. I mean, I was primarily playing Amiga games on this thing, and it is the, without a shadow of doubt in my opinion, it is the best portable gaming system there is for playing computer emulators like the Amiga. I mean, I've got the Nvidia Shield, and yeah, it's obviously more powerful than the Pandora, but the problem with these other things is it lacks a keyboard. The Pandora has got a full keyboard, so it means that if you've got to press the letter Z, then you can press the letter Z. So yeah, I was playing some games on that, not very much. Yeah, so that's that. That's what I have been doing. Quick pick up. Now it's not game related; it's more nostalgic related. I've been working my way through, like most people, the all the Marvel films. We watched, what was it? I can't remember what one it was. It was one of the Marvel ones with the Iron Man in it. Just we watched that last week, and Iron Man had on this T-shirt that I saw, and I thought I'll really like that. So I googled it, and lo and behold, I managed to get myself it, and it is this bad boy. Absolutely love that. Bruce Lee as a DJ. Yeah, Iron Man actually had that on. I'm guessing that's the real Bruce Lee. It certainly looks like him. So yeah, got that on, not on Amazon, got it on eBay actually. So well chuffed with that. So yeah, that is that's what I've been doing, guys. I've been away. So normal service will resume as of today, hence the Friday Waffle. So right, let's have a look. I've got a couple of things that I actually wrote down before I went. Right, games that you've had no urge to play even though you've never even tried them. You know, any sort of like series of games. And why is that? One series of games which I've had no interest in playing at all is Assassin's Creed. I don't know why, I've got no idea why I'm not interested in playing it. So I'm just checking to see, yeah, that looks alright. There's a mirror at the back of me, I just wasn't sure if I was kind of too close or whatever. Yeah, Assassin's Creed. I don't know what it is about it. Don't know. You know, it's probably a bit of a stupid question, a silly kind of topic to talk about. It's just I think I put it on. I've got two of them, I think, and was it the first one? I think it was. I put it on and I played it for literally 2 or 3 minutes, and I switched it off, and I have never ever returned. I don't know what it is about it. Is it the? I don't know. Is it the character? He's got this big kind of cloak thing on it. Don't know. Don't know why. I'm not even going to try and talk about why I don't like it. It's a series of games. You know, I never played the first one. Then obviously there's been subsequent ones that have come out since then, and I've had absolutely no interest in playing them at all. Don't know why. Another game that it just didn't appeal to me at all was it Mirror's Edge, I think it was. One of these games where you've got to kind of jump. It's kind of base jumping. Yeah, it's like a kind of virtual or a video game version of base jumping. It's held absolutely no interest for me whatsoever. I just thought it looked quite dull. But yeah, there's been loads of kind of games over the years. I mean, the Zelda games. I played. What did I play? I played the. What was it? A Link to the Past. It's the one that came out in the SNES. You know, the classic one where it kind of changes between the light world and the dark world. I played that, and I think, did I complete it? I didn't actually complete it. I got to probably, I don't know, 90%, and I can't remember where I got to, but I eventually gave up. But I've never ever revisited them. I mean, I've actually bought quite a lot of them because, you know, the Zelda games are always really, they're sort of held in quite high regard. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, there's something. I think games that require a lot of input, you know, they require a lot of investment. I mean, another series which I've never played and I've got no interest in playing is the, what are they called? Bloody hell, what are they called? Mass Effect games. I think we're up to is Mass Effect 3 now. Again, just got no interest. I think when my mate told me that, you know, he had completed the third one and it took him something like 60 or 80 hours to complete it. Now that's 60 hours is probably, I don't know, that's probably about a year's worth of gaming for me. Maybe not quite as much as that, but you know, and I'm certainly not going to waste a year of my time playing a game I don't want to play. But I don't know what it is. There's just there's always games that come out. I mean, stuff like World of Warcraft, never ever played them. I don't know. It's probably a pretty crap topic to actually talk about. But yeah, there's always these series of games that for whatever reason you actually kind of judge. You make a judgment on it that you're not going to like it even if you've never actually played it. I mean, Assassin's Creed may be the best series of games ever. I know quite a few mates have played them, and you know, people obviously rate them very highly. Okay, right. Now, it's, as I keep saying every week, this isn't a big waffle because I've not really had much of time to think about much. Is anybody that's been watching the videos the last wee while, I've, I wouldn't say I've been going daft, but I've been selling quite a bit of stuff, but I've also been buying quite a bit of stuff. Now, my latest purchase, which I made a video of last week, was my ColecoVision. Now, I've got to say, you know, absolutely love the ColecoVision to bits. It was one of these systems, it was a bit of a holy grail for me. It was one of these systems that I played way back, long before I ever owned an actual video system. I mean, my first computer was the Commodore 64, so I didn't have anything back then when the ColecoVision was out. But I can always remember seeing in Woolworths they had Donkey Kong running, and I always, you know, it looked the dog's bollocks, it really did. And you know, this here was a system playing an arcade game, and I didn't have any means of playing it, and it just, you know, I wouldn't have killed anybody, but I would have certainly have sold my grandmother to buy one, but it was never something I was ever going to own. I mean, the ColecoVision was probably the system back then that people wanted to own. I mean, you had your Atari 2600, which ultimately was way more successful than the ColecoVision. You had your Intellivision, I said then you had the ColecoVision, you also had the Vectrex as well, but the ColecoVision just looked, I mean, it was certainly, it was head and shoulders above the 2600 and the Intellivision for graphics. I mean, it could produce games which really looked pretty arcade perfect. So yeah, I would have absolutely loved to have owned a ColecoVision, but I never ever got the chance to. And it's not a system that you really get to see very often coming up for sale. Now, as luck would have it, I actually I made a post on Retro for Sale, basically just saying, has anybody got one that they would like to sell me? And this guy came back to me, and I mean, he gave it to me for a good price. I don't mind telling you, I mean, I paid £100 plus postage for all that stuff. Now, ColecoVisions on their own go for probably about £100. Now this one, if you've watched the video, what did it come with? It came with the expansion module which lets you play Atari 2600 games. It came with the steering wheel, which sadly doesn't work properly. The accelerator works, but the actual direction, the actual steering wheel itself doesn't seem to work. That's why I didn't feature that in the video, my Mamemeister look at, because I couldn't get it working. It actually takes batteries, and I did replace the batteries, and I said I got the accelerator working, but I couldn't get the actual wheel itself working, which was a wee bit unfortunate. A bit disappointed with that, but in fact I contacted the guy that I bought it from and says, look, do you know, is there anything that I'm not doing right? And what he said to me was, look, send it back and I'll give you a refund for the steering wheel part. But you know, the guy gave me such a good deal. I thought, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'll just hang on to it. It could be that it's an easy fix, I don't know. So yeah, I got the steering wheel, and I also got two of the, I don't know if they're called Rocky controllers, but the big kind of controllers with the sort of 6 buttons, or was it 8 buttons? I can't remember exactly what it was. Yeah, I think it's 6 buttons, 4 kind of there, you know, kind of gripping it, and you also think you had 2 at the front of it, so I got 2 of these as well. So yeah, I got it for an absolute cracking price. But yeah, anyway, I'm kind of waffling slightly, which I tend to do when I'm making these waffle things. I have been going a wee bit mental on the buying front. I mean, what have I bought recently? I'm trying to remember. I did buy the Amiga, which I showed you. In fact, I didn't do it because I didn't actually keep it that long. That was one of these sort of new devices which basically runs Amiga games. But I couldn't get it working properly. It was kind of too zoomed in on my TVs. All the TVs that I tried it on, it wouldn't work properly. So I sold it. So I managed to recoup all of the money bar the postage, which I had to incur. So it was about £8 postage. So yeah, I bought that, I sold that. What else have I been buying? I got the ColecoVision. There's been a few other things that I've bought recently, but I can't really even remember. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I've also bought another. In fact, I've got another Mamemeister look at, which I may as well tell you now. Actually, I got myself an Amiga CD32. Now, it's not something that I'd really thought about until, I can't remember, was I reading Retro Gamer I think it was, and they did a feature on it, and I thought, oh, that would be quite good to have. So again, I was asking one of my mates about it, and as luck would have it, he was actually, he's got a spare one. So I bought that off him, got it for quite a decent price. So yeah, I got that last week as well, so I'm going to do, I don't have any games for it, but it does play backups, so I'm going to get myself some games to play in it. So I'm going to be doing a Mamemeister look at for the CD32, but there's another 2 items which I've actually bought, and I may as well tell you now, just specky. Some people might recall, I put a video out about a month ago maybe. It was called, I called it the Ultimate Spectrum. Now funnily enough, the guy that actually makes this got in touch with me. Well, he made a comment on my video saying it's not the Ultimate Spectrum, it's a Just Spectrum. Now what I didn't realise was he's since been in touch with me. He actually, that's his brand name, he actually makes these old computers with new parts. So basically, put my teeth back in. Yeah, so basically this Just Specky is a brand new machine, but it's based on the same chipset that the original Specky had. So I've got myself, after borrowing George's, that's my mate's, I borrowed that for a couple of weeks. I really enjoyed that, so I've got myself one of these ordered. I think I should probably get it in the next fortnight or so. And another thing I've got as well, there was a mate selling a graphics card, an Amiga graphics card, an accelerator card. Now I did ask him how much he was wanting for it, but he decided not to sell it. Then one of my other mates told me that there's actually a budget graphics card, a budget accelerator card, which was released fairly recently. So again, this thing's coming from Germany I think it is, so I've got myself one of these ordered. So yeah, I've been spending a fair bit of cash. I mean, I have sold a fair bit. I'd probably say about 50% of what I've outlaid for all this stuff I've actually covered through selling other stuff, bits and pieces. I mean, I've been selling Spectrum games, Commodore 64 games. It's funny how stuff that I would have probably never imagined people would want. You know, you're selling maybe half a dozen games, you're getting 20 quid for them. So yeah, I've been making a wee bit of money doing that. But yes, I've got these 2 new things to come. I've got the accelerator card, and I've also got the Just Specky, which I will do a Mamemeister look at when I get it. Okay, right, I can't mention Blackpool and not mention about the lack of arcades in Blackpool. Well, not just in Blackpool, but anywhere. Now anybody that lived in the UK who was a video gamer probably realised that the arcades were primarily in sort of seaside resorts. Now I think I'm probably pretty safe saying this, that Blackpool back in the day was probably the place to go for arcades. I mean, I went down, I used to go down once a year. There used to be a thing called, in fact it was a sort of day trip to Blackpool. I think it was the local council who used to organise it. You basically paid, I think it was like £5 return. You went in this bus, you drove down to Blackpool, you had about 5 or 6 hours in Blackpool, then you came back up the road. And me and my mate used to go down every year, and it was an exciting time. I mean, as I'm talking now, I'm just sitting imagining what it was like. You got to Blackpool and it was just like a flood of lights, you know, and the noises of the arcades was just incredible. You would walk into these humongous arcades and there was every kind of sound effect, and it's you know, the lights, the glow, the Defender shooting noises, the Robotrons, the Pac-Man, all the sounds, you know, just absolutely consumed you, and it was an exciting time. You would walk about with your pocket full of 10p's, deciding what you were going to play. It really was an absolute epic place. It was the place, the mecca to go in the UK, you know, if you wanted to play classic video games. Now, unfortunately, Blackpool, like every other place now, the arcades have gone. They're still technically there, they're still called arcades, but all you've got are money grab, or not money grabbers, are these sort of money waterfall things where you put 2p in and the thing pushes the money down and you win some more money. And grabber machines, these ridiculous cabinet things. They've got soft toys and you've got this grabber thing which you manoeuvre using it, you know, sort of left and right, up and down, and it's got a claw, and that's all you've got. I mean, that is really what makes up arcades. There's a few fruit machines as well, but you know, it's crap. It really is. It's sad when you go back to Blackpool, and you compare what it is now as to what it used to be. I mean, it really was. It was like the mecca. It was an absolutely extraordinary place to go for video games, and now it's just shite. You know, they've got. In fact, I can't actually remember seeing any video games when I was down at all. I mean, I think you do get. I don't even know if you have Dance Dance kind of Revolution games, but you sometimes get the sort of driving games. But I honestly can't recall seeing any arcade games at all when I was down there. I said it's just all these stupid claw grabber machine things and money waterfalls. Do you think we'll ever see a return to the classic arcades? Doubtful, very, very doubtful. So yeah, anyway, that's Blackpool. I just wanted to fling that in before I forgot about it. Actually, I was talking about collections when they become too big, so I've been going a bit daft buying stuff. But yeah, this ColecoVision thing that I've got, love it to bits. But I'm now starting to kind of run out of space. You know, I've only got a finite amount of space. I mean, anybody that's I've made a few videos in the past of my kind of games collection, and in particular my games room. It's not a big area. I do have a lot of machines set up. But yeah, the ColecoVision, because there's so many bits and pieces, it's known where to actually keep stuff. I mean, I've not got the space to put anything on show, so I've got this wee cupboard in my games room, which all this stuff is kind of stored. But I think I've probably reached saturation point when it comes to buying any more stuff. You know, I physically don't have the room to display it, and to use it. Obviously, you've got to take the thing out. You've got to get the power pack. You've got to get the aerial all set up. It does become a bit laborious, to the point that I may not even end up using it. I mean, I do want to use the ColecoVision 100%, but you know, it's I think when a collection gets to a certain point and you can't actually use stuff because you've got so much, I think that's where you really have to think about sort of not so much downsizing, but certainly knocking it in the head. So I think that'll be my collection at its peak now. There's nothing else. I keep saying that. I keep saying to myself, right, there's nothing else that I want to buy, but then something else comes along and I end up wanting it. But yeah, I certainly can't afford, not so much I can't afford, I certainly can't afford the space wise to go and pick up any new machines. I just simply don't have the space to actually use them. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to kind of put a wee curb on my collection slightly. So anyway, listen guys, time is marching on. I've just got a couple of questions here from, firstly from Kevin down the rabbit hole. For the Friday Waffle, hi Alan, when you mentioned how you find it hard to shoot animals in hunting video games, I very much agreed with you. My wife and I got one of the wee light gun hunting games for our aunt a few years ago. Superb. And I just couldn't play it. But I don't have the same problem with fishing games. The Sega bass fishing games never really appealed to me, but not because they're cruel to fish, I just don't find them interesting. I think it's odd I feel bad killing deer and even virtual ducks, but not fish. How do you feel about those titles? And did you do any of the hunting in Red Dead Redemption or Assassin's Creed? I did, and didn't feel so bad in those games. However, I think it made sense in those worlds. Right, first part, Kevin. I think I'm not a fisherman at all. I don't have a problem with people who fish at all. I mean, some of my best mates are fishermen. I personally find it quite cruel. I don't have any interest in fishing, but I do kind of feel sorry for the fish getting this big bloody hook through their mouth and getting pulled out of the water. I mean, pulling a fish out of water is equivalent to putting your head underwater and having to hold your breath. So I'm not particularly fond on real life fishing. I've never played any of the sort of the base fishing games, the Sega fishing games. I don't think I would have an issue with that. There's something about fish that sets them apart from like a deer. I think because that I'm aware of, fish don't show any emotion, they don't really show any pain other than they flap about. They certainly don't make any noise. You injure a tiger, it's going to make a noise, or a cat or whatever it is, a deer, it's going to make a noise, you're going to see it suffer. I think with fish you don't have that same thing, so I think that's probably why there's people who can quite easily fish but they couldn't go and shoot an animal, because you can actually see the animal suffer. But there's certainly people who treat fish differently from animals. I mean, I eat fish, I don't have a problem with people catching fish, but yeah, I'm a bit too squeamish and probably a bit too kind of soft in the head. I'm not soft in the head, soft as far as suffering's concerned. I couldn't fish myself because I would feel a bit too sorry for the fish. But I don't not play these sort of base fishing games for a sort of a cruelty aspect. It's just it's not a game I've ever actually played, had opportunity to play. So yeah, it doesn't really bother me with that, Kevin. Red Dead Redemption. I've played that for a few hours, but I can't say I've actually ever killed an animal in it. And Assassin's Creed, well, as I mentioned earlier, I've never had any real impulse to play Assassin's Creed, so I can't say I've actually killed anything in that because I've never actually played it. Also, did you know there's a PC game called Deer Avenger that gives the rifle to the deer and has him hunting people? It's done for comedy, but I'm curious if you've ever seen that one. I can't say I have, Kevin. Deer Avenger, huh? Very good. No, never heard of that other than you just mentioning it there. So thanks for the questions, Kev. And the last one, Steve, Seattle Stokey. Thanks for the question, Steve. With you mentioning about your forthcoming pickups, I was wondering whether you've ever done a Vectrex rollie and hidden gaming purchases from the other half, or maybe been economical with the truth about how much you've spent in a gaming item. For my part, the missus still doesn't know I've got a PS4 stashed under my computer desk. She thinks it's Atari 5200 I imported from the US and only cost $30 or 30 quid. I think I've mentioned this before, my wife does not, she never passes comment on stuff that I buy. We do have a joint account which we use for mortgages and bills and food and that kind of stuff, but we do have our own separate bank accounts. I certainly never ever judge her on what she spends. I mean, she doesn't spend a lot of money. She's not one of these women that spends hundreds of pounds on loads of pairs of shoes. But on that token as well, she never ever bothers me. You know, she never passes criticism about what I've actually bought. I'm sure she probably thinks, why is he buying that? But she never passes any comment. So I don't have to. It's never been a problem. I've never had to kind of hide stuff so she doesn't see it. Have I been economical with the truth? Possibly. I mean, I don't really mean when I buy stuff now. I don't mention it to her because she's really not interested. I mean, in the past, I mean, with exes, I certainly used to. I used to always try and get obviously stuff delivered during the day, or try and pick it up when she was at work so they wouldn't see it. I think it's. I think as well. I think the fact that a lot of my stuff is old, then you know, people have got no. She's certainly not got any sort of knowledge as to what kind of stuff I've got. I think if I was buying iPad after iPad and coming in with new computers, then it might be a problem. I think it would become a problem if you know, I wasn't able to afford to buy food, or, you know, it's started to impact on the stuff that I do with my daughter. But I'm not that daft. It's never reached that stage. But yeah, there has been, you know, with exes, been times where I've bought stuff and I've kind of hidden it in the car until they're away to work. Then I'll dig it out and, you know, unbox it or whatever it is. It was never as bad when you're buying stuff for the PC, because you could stick a new graphics card into your PC and they'd be none the wiser. I'm sure my wife, I mean, I don't think she really sees the difference between a PS4 and probably a PlayStation. She probably thinks it's one and the same thing, but she's really not interested, so it's not an issue for me. It used to be an issue in the past with the exes, but I've got to say I'm pretty lucky in that score. It's not an issue now. So anyway, listen guys, that is it. I do apologise for kind of slightly rubbish waffle this week. I do promise to get back on track for next week, but yeah, that is it. I trust you'll have a great weekend. I'm actually off on holiday until I go back to work on Wednesday. So yeah, that's it. So I do hope you enjoy watching it guys. As usual, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe. And oh, before I go, I notice I noticed my subscribers have jumped up to 370, which is a jump of about 6 or 7 this week. Now what's funny is there seems to be a direct relation to the less videos I make, the more people subscribe to me. So I don't know what that's telling me. The more videos I make, there seems to be kind of a bit of a blip on new people subscribing. So anyway, if you've just subscribed guys, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy watching the videos, and I hope you also enjoy, I hope you enjoy it enough to kind of stick about and to comment and participate in the wee community we've got. So anyway guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and as usual, take care.
Thanks for watching my Mamemeister channel. Please feel free to like, comment or subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter.